What is up, people? Episode number 2 of The Breakdown here on the Loudmouth MMA Podcast Network. And that's of 2020, I should add. Not episode number 2 ever. We've done countless episodes. But we are back. Another edition, fresh off the UFC's iconic UFC 246 event this past weekend. I am your co-host, Max Friedman, Trademark MMA. I got my man, Big Marcel Dorff, bobbing to some non-playing music in his head. Marcelinho, happy Tuesday, my friend. What's going on? Thoughts on the card? Just give the people what's going on with you today.
So happy Tuesday, guys. Happy Tuesday, Max. First of all, I wanted to talk some shit to you because you're a complete asswipe that you put in the first 10 seconds of our last podcast. You fucking idiot, man. How can you do it?
I played it back.
It's all good, man.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave it in there.
He was, you know what? I'm a dick. I keep being a dick, but all good, man. I got mad love for you. So, it was a good event, I guess, man. What can we say about it? I mean,
4 out of 5 fights on the main card finishes. Just saying. Maybe not the biggest name value, but some fun fights.
Sure. And exactly like we said, man. Four good fights on the main card and one absolute stinker, and it was the way we said it. Let's be honest. And I think also the prelims delivered, man. I mean, Yusuf against Fili was a good fight, like expected. Askarov Elliott was a very strange fight, but it was fun to watch. And what about Roxanne Modafferi, man? Upsetting Macy Barber over there. People saying Macy Barber was injured after 10 seconds in the second round, but Roxanne did great in the first already. She won that first round.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. You can't say, oh, fighter's injured, so therefore it's a different story. You remember when Tyron Woodley fought Carlos Condit in 2015? Yeah, and Carlos Condit blew out his knee, but the problem was Tyron Woodley was landing leg kicks. He was taking him down constantly. It's like, they give the other fighter some credit. Give Roxy some credit.
Definitely. But the only thing that I didn't like was the doctor came in and he was like, she got a small ACL tear, she can go. I was like, dude,
what the heck was that?
Yeah, you're showing the opponent what her opponent has, and is that Roxy is that nice that she doesn't kick the leg, but everybody else would have kicked the leg over there or kicked the knee, oblique, kick, whatever they could to stop the fight. So that was bad, I think. But overall, a good card. I think maybe some controversial decisions. Definitely the first one between Mazzo and Aldrich. I think that could have gone either way. I had it a different way, and that's not because I picked Aldrich. What can you say else, man? Diego Ferreira, what a performance! I mean, against a former champion, that dominant. Another great win for Fortis MMA. He's ranked now at number 11 in the lightweight division, so good for him. And we have to talk about the main event as well, man. I mean, Conor did great, but Cowboy bottled it again at the big stage, and it sucks for him. I don't like the talk that people saying it's scripted or it's fake. It wasn't fake, man. I mean, Cowboy doesn't let his nose getting busted up like that for a paycheck. That's bullshit. But I don't take big value in that win, to be honest, man. Conor is back, but the King is back. Blah blah blah. Not for me, man. I think he should fight Justin Gaethje next, still, man. That's how I think about it. And if he goes to welterweight, let's give him Nate Diaz 3, or even give him Masvidal if Masvidal wants it, man. I don't give a shit. But I mean, not for a title at this moment, man. He needs at least a big win against a top contender right now, and Cowboy isn't a top contender in my opinion. He's a good fighter, but not a top contender at this moment.
Yeah, I think that it did what it wanted to do in drawing a big casual fan base into the sport by putting McGregor matched up against someone he can beat. But the true knowledgeable fans of the sport know that win does him nothing as far as the actual state of the division, whether it's lightweight, whether it's welterweight. We want to see him face a top contender, and by no means does he deserve a title fight in any weight division right now.
Yeah, what about Dana White? What he said afterwards in the press conference that Khabib versus Conor should be next, and what else did he say? Oh yeah, that Conor wasn't himself in the first fight and that he had personal problems. Like, dude, why you're making up excuses for someone? Conor can speak for himself. You don't do it. You're not his dad. I mean, come on. Maybe you think you are, but it's just stupid. And just let Conor talk himself, man. You don't have to talk for him. And it's just sad, man, because you're disrespecting Tony Ferguson as well. I don't say Tony Ferguson is going to win against Khabib, but I don't say he's not going to win against Khabib. I'm saying that Conor should fight Khabib next. And he said, people saying it can also be not for a title, but he said the Masvidal fight doesn't make sense because there's not a title at stake, you know? So he means Khabib for Conor too for a title. That means that he's completely thinking that Tony is not going to win against Khabib, and that's something he shouldn't said. He's a promoter from an organization. We all know he's biased, but you shouldn't be biased, and definitely not in public, man. Keep it behind closed doors. And I know you're a promoter, but do it the right way, man, and don't do it this way. Because, listen, man, you have so many people who follow this sport for years, dedicated fans, and you have to give back to them as well, man. Don't only look to the casual fans to draw attention, to draw money. I understand. Listen, I got a lot of people who are reaching out to me on Twitter, or even getting against me on Twitter that I posted yesterday a tweet about it. But I'm not stupid. I understand the business model and how it's working, but it doesn't mean that I have to agree with it and that I won't say anything about it. I mean, I'm not on the UFC payroll. I can say whatever I want, and I will say whatever I want as long as it makes sense.
Yeah. Enough on Conor McGregor, enough on Dana White. One real quick thing on 246 before we wrap up and look ahead to Raleigh. Drew Dober, what a performance he had, man. Yeah. One of the biggest underdogs on the card, just a clean first-round knockout of Nasrat Haqparast, a guy that many think is a future top contender at 155. And Drew Dober, man, I think he's now won 5 out of 6. That lone loss coming to Beneil Dariush in a fight that he was very competitive in, almost finished once or twice.
Yeah.
Guy's finding the right stride in his career, so I hope Drew Dober gets a big opportunity in his next fight.
But here we're getting it. Drew Dober, man. Why did that say his name when I was going down to the card? I mean, that's the problem with Drew Dober. The guy is so underrated. I still forgot his name to name, and he had one of the best performances of the night. You know, he is so underrated. He's like James Krause, also a guy who's very underrated in the division. And these are the guys you have to watch out for, man. I mean, these are not the guys who you can use as a stepping stone like you saw now, because the UFC was heavily invested in Nasrat Haqparast. I was as well. I still think he's a huge talent and he can make it big. Yeah. But man, Drew Dober, he showed that
he's no stepping stone.
Yeah, definitely not. I might even be a contender in the near future in the division if he's going the way he's going. Because, like you said, the Dariush fight, the first and the 1.5 round, it was his until Dariush gets it to the ground and finished him. He was beating up Dariush in the first round, if I can remember correctly.
So, on the evening, Big Marcel takes the win in the first event of the year, 7-4. Going 7-4, I had a modest 6-5 on the night. Marcel, 2 bonuses correct. Conor McGregor and Alexei Olenek. I only got 1 with Conor McGregor. I'm glad we picked the non-fight of the night. I would like to do that moving forward if you're okay with that, in case they do hand him out. Sure. Got your underdog pick right with Alexa Kamer too. I also hit on the underdog with Brian Kelleher. But Big Marcel, in one event of the year, we're both 0-1 in our lock picks. We both took Macy Barber. She lost. So I'm glad we're going to track those this year too, because we're not off to a good start in that category. But we look ahead. UFC's second event of the year is UFC Fight Night 166.
Can I ask you one more thing about the Barber controversy with she taking the mic right before Roxanne got interviewed? What are your thoughts about it?
Throw that out the window. That was stupid. Shouldn't have happened. Joe Rogan shouldn't have let her take the mic unless she was legitimately going to retire or something. And he knew that wasn't going to happen.
It was weird, man. I mean, also she was like, first she gave a compliment, but then she backtracked a little bit with it was a compliment with a little bit of smack around it. Like, I don't care that I lost because it makes her shine. Sounds a little bit weird, but yeah, what can you do about it? But I wanted just to hear your opinion about it.
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you.
Took away from Roxy's win. I didn't like it. UFC Fight Night 166 comes your way on January 25th, 2020. That is from the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Fun card up and down the lineup. I know we've had some injuries scrap out some pretty fun fights on this card, but still a lot of low-key battles on this one. Bout order courtesy of our good friend MMA Form Guide on Twitter. And hey, MMA Form Guide, talk about cashing some big time bets over the weekend. UFC 246. Shout out to him. I saw his bet slip on Twitter. Dude, clean house, man. Some great picks there. And we kick things off in the early prelims in a fight I know you're excited about, Big Marcel. I know I am. I know our good friend Sean Bitter especially is. Nate Landwehr taking on Herbert Burns, a battle of two newcomers here in the featherweight division. Landwehr is the minus 125 slight favorite. Herbert Burns is the plus 105 underdog. Herbert Burns is the younger brother of welterweight Gilbert Burns. Herbert Burns fought 7 times under the ONE FC banner. Then he had a lot of issues getting out of the contract, getting it terminated, just being able to go seek opportunities elsewhere. But right now he's on a 3-fight win streak. Most notably getting rear naked choke finish victories on Dana White's Looking For a Fight and Dana White's Contender Series. So he's an Ultimate Fighter stint away from the trifecta there. If you don't know who Nate the Train Landwehr is, he is an absolute stud. He is 13-2 as a pro. He was the M1 Global Featherweight Champion, where he defeated some really tough talent. Currently on that 7-fight win streak. His last loss came all the way back in 2015 to well-traveled regional vet Mark Cherico. Big Marcel, Nate Landwehr, Herbert Burns. This is one way to get the card started, man. I'm excited for this one. What do you got?
Yeah, man, it's a fun fight, man. I mean, Landwehr, he's coming from M1 Global. He was a champion over there. By the way, do you know if he's German? Is he German heritage?
He might be German heritage, but he's from Tennessee, so he's definitely an American guy.
Yeah, because Landwehr is something like National Army from Germany or something. Landwehr. That's why I'm asking. It's a good fight. It's a fight between two newcomers. Personally, I don't really like fights between two newcomers. Definitely not if they are supposed to be having a great career in the UFC, because you already begin with a -1 in the octagon, right? Yeah. Or you have to go with Raw. And Landwehr, he was very impressive so far in the M1 Global organization, where he fought for the title. I think he won against Khamzat Dalgiev. Then he defended it twice against Leshniev and against Kolesnik, a guy who he defeated earlier by split decision. He won then against unanimous decision. Taking on Herbert Burns, he's good on the ground, just like his brother. You know, I think Gilbert is older, right?
Gilbert is older. Herbert is slightly younger.
Yeah. So did great in the Contender Series. I think the opponent Dartman he fought wasn't on his caliber of a fighter, wasn't his level. He's a great regional guy, but I don't think he was matching against Herbert Burns very well. This is a really tough fight for me to choose, because I think Herbert Burns can do heavy work on the ground as well, just like Nate Landwehr. But I'm taking Nate here, getting it done by unanimous decision in a very fun fight, the opener of the card.
Yeah, the grappling edge definitely goes to Burns in this one. But Landwehr's fought tougher competition, and he's been in 5-rounders for quite some time now. Terrific gas tank. If Burns doesn't get him out of there early, I think Nate Landwehr takes over in the second round and then earns his way to maybe a unanimous decision as well. So give me Nate the Train.
I hate the next fight, and I hate it because I don't want to see either guy lose.
I am right there with you, Big Marcel. When I saw this announced, I'm like, that is one heck of a matchup. I hate the fact that they're fighting each other, though.
Yeah.
And that is a bantamweight fight between Brett Johns and Tony Gravely. Brett Johns, the pikey, is a slight underdog. I mean, he's a -105 betting line, so it's not really like a true underdog there. Tony Gravely is -115, and this is a very under-the-radar booking here. And originally, it was the co-main slot, and now all of a sudden, it's the second fight on the card.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, man. This should have definitely been on the main card, in my opinion.
Well, anyway, Brett the Pikey Johns, it's been a while since we've seen him. August of 2018 was the last time he has fought in the UFC. He is 15-2 as a pro, 3-2 in the UFC, but he comes into this one off back-to-back losses to Aljamain Sterling and Pedro Munoz. Gravely, meanwhile, is 19-5 and enters the UFC on a 7-fight win streak. He's won 11 of 12, with that lone loss coming to Bellator's Patrick Mix. We know how good he is. Tony Gravely earned that call to the UFC after beating Ray Rodriguez on Dana White's Contender Series. Big Marcel, I know you hate to do it, but break this fight down because it's a tough one to pick.
Yeah, man, the Pikey, Brad Johns. Some people forgot about him, man, because the last time he fought was in 2018. But the guy's a solid fighter. I really liked him when he came up in the UFC. He got that calf slicer win against Joe Soto, which was really nasty, and he won the MMA DNA Submission of the Year 2017 award with it, by the way. So after that, 2 losses against Aljamain Sterling, which is a top contender in the division, and Pedro Munoz, which is also a top contender in the division. So 2-fight losing skid, but against solid competition. On the other side, we have Tony Gravely, which have done great on the regional scene, man. I mean, on the CES promotion, he was the champion. Came in the Contender Series last year. It's 2020 now, so last year. He came in last year, fought Ray Rodriguez, and one of the best fights, I think, of the Contender Series of 2019, and he won in the 3rd round. Very hard to predict this one, but I feel Brad Johns is going to win this fight by a last round submission or a unanimous decision, but it will be a very fun, a very competitive fight, and I expect Johns to do the Latley afterwards.
So I could see that happening, but I don't like the layoff for Johns, and I think Tony Gravely is hitting at the right time here, and I think he's just too well-rounded. So I got to favor Gravely in a very tight decision.
I wouldn't mind, man. I wouldn't mind. I mean,
my man, Big Marcel might have.
Overall.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you lose me?
Just for like a split second, and then I heard you, so we're good.
Okay, cool.
Rounding out the early prelims, bantamweights on the women's side, the number 10 ranked Sarah McMahon taking on the number 11 Lena Landsberg. McMahon is the slight favorite, minus 155. Sweden's Lena Landsberg is the plus 135 underdog. We'll start with the elbow queen. She is 10-4 as a pro, 4-3 in the UFC, and she's coming off fairly dominant back-to-back wins over Macy Chiasson and Tanya Evinger. The betting lines in those fights was a plus 325 and plus 285 respectively. And talk about cashing some bets if you bet on Lena Landsberg. She seems to be growing under her head coach and significant other, Akira Corisani. Give you your TMZ update for the day there, Big Marcel. McMahon, meanwhile, 11-5, 5-5 in the UFC, has not fought since February of 2018. I believe she went through a second pregnancy and then had a child, and then I think she's been kind of resting and rehabbing injuries. Comes into this one, though, off back-to-back losses. She did compete in quintet grappling in 2019. One night, she went 2-1 in that night. Big Marcel, do you favor McMahon or Landsberg here in this one?
So, yeah. If McMahon was more active, it would have been an easy pick for me, but now it's a little bit more difficult. Like you said, Landsberg, she did well in the last 2 fights. She definitely did well against Tonya Evinger, which she pretty much dominated. And the Chiasson fight was also very good, which not many people gave her a chance against Macy Chiasson at that moment. So she's fighting Sarah McMahon. Sarah McMahon, former title challenger, but I'll a 2-fight losing skid in the octagon, man. But the thing is, women bantamweight, it ain't that great, man, to be honest. I think it's like I said in a tweet last Saturday. The UFC has a big problem in the division, man, because Holm and Durandamy, nobody gets past those two to get to Nunes. So they should have surpassed those two to get to Nunes, because nobody's going to win against Holm or Durandamy. Also not Aldana. Sorry, guys. That's my opinion. McMahon, taking McMahon by split decision, but if there is a fight on this card I should go to a bathroom, maybe this one is. It's not the one I'm looking forward to be honest.
You know, I think maybe a 2016 Sarah McMahon I favor in this fight. The Sarah McMahon right now coming off 2 years on the shelf, and you know, she's shown a tendency to fade. Landsberg seems to do well as the fight wears on. She kind of wore out Macy Chiasson. She wore out Tanya Evinger. I got to go Landsberg here. Decision. I just got to do it. That's my pick. I don't know. I've picked wrong on her many times, so we'll see if maybe she gets it done here.
Me too, man. She's like my female Lewis.
Hard person to fight. Hard fighter to pick. We go to the televised prelims here. Montel, the Quick Jackson, and Felipe Colares at bantamweight. Biggest betting favorite on the card, Montel Jackson, is the minus 630 favorite. Brazil's Cabo Cao, Felipe Colares is plus 465 underdog. Big Marcel, why don't you kick things off for us in this bantamweight fight?
So, yeah, Montel Jackson, he came in 2018 of that win against Rico Di Giulio.
2018, not 2008. That would have been 11 years.
I said 2018.
You said 2008.
Yeah, but I think you have something on your ears, but it's all good. So he won the Contender Series, but he didn't get the contract back then. But, yeah, he got signed later for a short notice fight against Ricky Simone. He lost that one. But since then, he looked great, man. He finished Brian Keller by a Darce choke in the first round in 2018. And in 2019, he defeated Andrew. Overall, I think Montel Jackson is a guy to keep an eye on, man. I really think he is somebody in the future we can expect big things from. I think Colares, he's not that bad, but he's definitely not on Montel Jackson's that level, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm taking Montel Quick Jackson by a TKO in the second round.
Yeah, many are very high on Jackson coming out of Pura Vida BJJ in Milwaukee. Man, he's been very impressive in the UFC thus far. Colares, meanwhile, 9-1, 1-1 in the UFC. Had a nice win over Domingo Pilarte last July, but and he's still only 25, training out of Team Nogueira. But Jackson just seems to be the better fighter right now. I think he has his way with him in this fight. So I'm going to go Jackson. Maybe I'll say a submission. Third round. And what was your official pick, Big Marcel? Jackson, what?
TKO, second round.
TKO, too. Okay. Moving things along here, I know this is the fight Big Marcel's most excited about on this card. Women's flyweights here, Justine Kish and Lucy Pudialova. Pudialova, the slight favorite, minus 175. Justine Kish is the plus 155 underdog. So North Carolina plays host to a Russian and a Czech fighter against one another. Kind of funny. We'll start with Justine Kish, who is 6-2 as a pro, 2-2 in the UFC, has not fought in 2 years. Her last fight was a loss to Jin-Yeon Kim in January 2018. Prior to that, she lost to Felice Herrig. I think, and even before that, her fight with Ashley Goder, I thought she lost that one too. Meanwhile, Pudialova, not a great record, 2-4 in the UFC, 8-5 overall, but she always comes for war. She does enter this one off 3 straight losses. Granted, 2 of those 3 losses picked up $50,000 as a fight of the night bonus winner. Big Marcel, I'll go first here. Pudialova seems to be the better offensive fighter. Should get it done here. I think she even maybe gets a finish. Give me Pudialova to TKO second round. Where are you at?
Yeah, man. Hard fight to pick, in my opinion. You said Kish has a 2-fight losing streak, but I still think that Jin-Yeon Kim fight was a complete robbery, in my opinion. I know people give me shit always for using the word robbery, but if I think it's a robbery, I'll say it. If I think it's controversial, I say it's controversial. Could have gone either way, but if it's a robbery, it's a robbery, and it was a robbery, so I will call it a robbery. Lucy Pudialova, 3-fight losing streak, but like you said, man, she's always gaming those fights, man. I mean, she comes to fight. She's always in the war. I mean, split decision against Aldana, losing, still impressive. Could have gone her way as well, if I can remember correctly. Both looked banged up after that fight. Carmouche, that was pretty. I thought that was one-sided. People were like she got robbed in that one, but I thought it was a clear win for Carmouche, in my opinion. And the Shevchenko fight was competitive until she got choked in the second round. Hard fight to pick, man. I'm going the other way here. I'm taking Justine Kish by a split decision.
All right. Moving things along here, a fight that many believe should be on the main card. The number 15 ranked featherweight Arnold Allen is the minus 285 favorite against a longtime UFC staple Nick Lentz, the plus 225 underdog. And I kind of like when this happens. Granted, I'm not happy that either of these 2 matchups fell through, but I like when you get 2 injuries on the same card. Just match the opponents up. If they're in the same weight class, go ahead. So Nad Narimani, Josh Emmett, both injured. So lo and behold, these two guys go against each other.
But keep the fight on the main card and don't put it on the prelims, UFC.
Allen, 6-0 in the UFC, still only 25 years old. He is an English import at TriStar Gym in Canada. He is riding an 8-fight win streak. Most recently, one-sided win over former title challenger Gilbert Melendez last July. Nick the Carney Lentz has competed 43 times as a pro, debuted back in the UFC all the way in 2009, now 35 years old, had a 2-fight win streak snapped by Charles Oliveira in May, so he's 3-3 in his last 6. But interesting, because he has not competed at 145 since May of 2015. So he's going back down for this one. Big Marcel, Arnold Allen, Nick Lentz. How do you see this one going?
Man, this is a fight since it was announced like a week ago. I've been going back and forth about, because the obvious pick is Arnold Allen here. You know, people will say Arnold Allen will this and that. But if you look at Nick Lentz's record, there's only 3 recent losses are against Charles Oliveira, which is a beast on the ground, against David Taymor, which was a close fight, if I can remember correctly, and Islam Makhachev, who was a pretty dominant performance by Makhachev. But Scott Holtzman, man, that win, that was a pretty decent win against a guy who was on a high. How do you say that?
Yeah, he was on a winning streak. He was riding momentum. Yeah.
Exactly, at that moment. And that was impressive. The Maynard fight, Gray Maynard isn't the same fighter he was a few years ago, but that head kick was pretty impressive as well. So if I look at Arnold Allen is a very good fighter, but the problem he has the most time is people who can take him to the ground and keep him there. And he escaped a loss for 2 times pretty much. In his debut fight against Alan Nomer and against Mats Burnell, he escaped there by submitting his opponent from a very weird, I think it was a ninja choke, 2 ninja chokes, by the way, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah, I think definitely the Omer one was. I'm trying to remember the Mads Burnell choke. I'm seeing both a ninja choke, but I'm also seeing an arm and guillotine from the guard, so I can't remember exactly.
It was a real weird fight where he got dominated the whole fight, and then he got that choke out of nowhere. So that's concerning to me, because Nick Lentz is a good grappler as well, in my opinion. So I'm going for the upset here. I'm taking Nick Lentz by unanimous decision, by doing heavy work from the top. But if he gets submitted by Arnold Allen in the last round, man, that would be crazy if that happens again.
Yeah.
Don't say it won't happen, because we know what Brian Ortega does all the time.
That's true. Yeah, Arnold Allen, I think he's a talent that only keeps getting better. And yeah, he's had those fights that probably could have gone the other way, and he could have very well had L's on his record. But his last 2 fights, Jordan Rinaldi and Gilbert Melendez, just dominant decisions. So I got to stay with him. I think he stays on the outside, grabs a decision. Arnold Allen, unanimous decision in this one.
I mean, bro, got to do an upset somewhere, right? And I thought this was a fun one to do an upset. And
hey, you've already picked 3 underdogs thus far, so you know
I'm so impressed by myself. Just kidding, man. I'm not.
All right, headlining the televised prelims, a middleweight fight. Bevon Lewis taking on Dequan Townsend. Lewis is the minus 420 favorite. Dequan Townsend is the plus 335 underdog. Someone's O has got to go in this one, Big Marcel. We got a combined record in the UFC of 0-3. Why don't you kick things off for us at middleweight here?
So the awful thing here is that Bevon Lewis, I'm still high on him. I don't give a fuck what people say, because I've seen him fight a few times in LFA, in the Contender Series, and he fought well. He was impressive. Yeah. Then he fought Uriah Hall in his UFC debut. He pretty much dominated Uriah Hall for 2 rounds, and then he got clipped by a punch and he got knocked out, and it was over. Then he fought Darren Stewart in a very underwhelming performance from him. Darren Stewart did well. Wasn't a great fight also from Darren Stewart's side. But
Stewart's
he did
on
well.
A nice run himself, man. Yeah. Got to give him credit, too. He's really turned his UFC career around.
100%, man. I mean, but it wasn't a great fight. Got to be honest. But
No.
Stewart did well in that fight. He deservedly won. And 2-0 or 0-2 is Bevon Lewis. Now he was supposed to fight Alan Amadovsky in this one. Amadovsky got out because he was injured. Dequan Townsend comes off that weird USADA thing where he used certain thing. I think Nolan King has a nice article on it on MMA Junkie. Definitely check that one out. He fought Dalcha Lungiambula and he lost by a TKO in the third round. It was a short notice fight for him. Overall, Bevon Lewis. Listen, if Bevon Lewis doesn't win this fight, he's gone. He's pretty much gone if he doesn't win this fight. And same goes for Dequan Townsend, but I think Lewis has more, is bigger talent, has more tools in his game to win this fight. Give me Bevon Lewis by TKO in the first round.
Yeah, interesting note about Dequan Townsend. I had heard initially from that first UFC performance, he was actually cut after it. They weren't interested in bringing him back, and then just so happened the same day this opportunity opened up, they said you can take this or see you later. So smart career move. Take that fight down at middleweight. Although he's naturally a middleweight, so it really isn't much of a weight cut for him. I'm with you on Bevon Lewis. I think he is. He's a very talented guy and definitely not indicative of that 0-2 UFC record. But you mentioned it, 2 very tough UFC fights. So this one kind of gives him someone closer to the bottom of the division, see how he fares here, and I think he shines. I think he works his game plan, gets him down, beats him up. Give me a Bevon Lewis TKO second round. And you called the finish too, Big Marcel?
I did.
Yeah.
TKO first round.
First round. That's what I thought. Okay, cool. All right, we go to the main card here, and we kick things off in the 205-pound light heavyweight division. Darko Stosic taking on Jamal Hill. Hill, the UFC newcomer, is the minus 135 favorite. Stosic is the underdog at plus 115. This will be the 4th UFC appearance for Darko Stosic. He is 1-2 and comes into this one off back-to-back losses to Devin Clark and Kennedy Nzechukwu, but very razor-close decisions, both those fights. Could have probably gone his way. One could have gone his way, the other two. And his only other career loss, probably to the best recently signed light heavyweight on the planet, Yuri Prochazka. Is that how you say it? Prochazka?
I say Prochazka, but I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing him in the UFC. That's for sure. I actually had a note saying probably the best light heavyweight outside the UFC. I didn't change it before we jumped on here.
Would they go crazy? Would they go crazy and do Prochazka against Bukauskas?
I don't know. That's that Nate Landwehr, Herbert Burns, 2 debut.
Yeah, they have it. Yeah,
never know. Jamal Hill is 6-0. Sweet dreams. Earned that UFC spot beating Alexander Popek on Dana White's Contender Series last summer. Also holds a win over UFC's Dequan Townsend, who was also on this card. Was lined up against Daun Jung in August, but visa issues prevented him from that fight. Big Marcel, this is a tough one to call here. Stosic and Jamal Hill. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, like you said, man, Jamal Hill from the Contender Series got the win over Alexander Popek. This is a hard one, man, because Darko Stosic came with so much hype into the UFC, I remember. Then he got that fight falling through against Magomed Ankalaev. But after that, losing against Devin Clark and against the ball kick fight against Kennedy Nzechukwu. So it's a super hard fight to pick here. Hill is the longer guy. Stosic is probably the more buff, the bigger guy. You go first on this one, man, because I'm still.
Yeah, I like what I saw out of Jamal Hill striking, but I think at this moment, I've picked wrong on Stosic before. I think he's better right now, and if he shows up, I think he gets a TKO in the first round. So give me Stosic by a knockout early.
Yeah, I don't want to be a bitch, but that's exactly what I thought, actually. That Stosic, if he's winning, he takes in the first round. If it goes longer, I probably thinking Jamal Hill can take a unanimous decision. But, I'm also going Stosic's first round TKO. I'm sorry, man.
No problem, man. You can pick whoever you want. All right. Women's strawweight action next up. Angela Hill against Hannah Cifers. Hill is the minus 160 favorite. Hannah Cifers, Shockwave, plus 140. I know you and I were both bummed out because we were excited to see Brianna Van Buren in this spot. She is out now, and now the
extremely
self-proclaimed Cowboy Cerrone of the women's strawweight division, Angela Hill, steps in for another short notice fight. She is 10-7 as a pro, 5-7 in the UFC. I'm kind of surprised she's still on the roster, to be honest. She's 33 and trains at Alliance in San Diego. Alternated wins and losses in her last 4. She did stop Ariane Carnelossi last September in Mexico City. Hannah Cifers, though, 10-3. She is 27. She comes into this one off back-to-back wins. Beat Poliana Viana and Jodie Esquibel. She was an underdog in both those fights. Big Marcel, Cifers, Hill. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, man, this card, I still love this card, but my two fighters I was looking forward to the most are off this card, man. That's Brianna Van Buren and Corey Sandhagen. So, yeah, it's still a good fight. I think. I think it's hard to say, man. I mean, like you said, you're surprised Angela Hill's still in the UFC, but she takes those fights nobody wants, man. She always is
That's
like,
true.
give me that fight, and I can respect that. Yeah, this is a hard fight for me to pick. I think I have to go with momentum here. I think I go Hannah Cifers by a split or a split decision. A close fight because Hannah Cifers is not really a finisher so far in the UFC from what I saw. And Angela Hill, sometimes Angela Hill shows up and sometimes not, and sometimes very mediocre and sometimes it's good. But, yeah, Hannah Cifers, split decision, very close fight.
Cifers is a tough out no matter what. I'm going to slightly favor Hill's experience, but Cifers could walk away with a decision. I would not be surprised at all.
So you're picking?
Angela Hill, unanimous decision.
All right.
Flyweights on deck here. The number 10 ranked Jordan Espinoza taking on the number 11 ranked Alex Perez. Perez is the minus 270 favorite despite being one back in the rankings. Jordan Espinoza plus 230. What up, flyweights? Big Marcel, we're back. Flyweights are back in shooting.
Man, I'm getting so emotional right now. They're putting flyweights on the main card, and it's not even a title fight.
You know, it's great to see. We've come a long way, Big Marcel. Espinoza, 14-6. He is 30 years old, trains in Albuquerque at Luttrell's MMA, 1-1 in the UFC. He is coming off a loss here to Matt Schnell in August. Perez only 27, but 27 pro fights. 29, 22-7 record. He's 4-1 in the UFC. That lone loss to Joseph Benavidez. He was actually favored in that one, but that was actually one of my power picks in 2019 that I just hammered that betting line because Joseph Benavidez is an underdog. How often do you get that? He trains at a Team Oyama, a very good team for especially some of the lighter weight fighters. Most recently took out Mark De La Rosa, Big Marcel, Jordan Espinoza, and Alex Perez. This is a tough one to pick. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't think it's a tough one to pick, to be honest. I'm pretty high on Alex Perez, so I really like how he's fighting. He was so impressive against Shorty Torres, I remember. The Benavidez fight, yeah, he lost that one, but Benavidez is, in my opinion, at this moment, the best guy in the division. Sorry, Henry, but you're not in the division anymore. So, Jordan. So, man, Alex Perez has been more, how do you say that? You lost me again, right? Alex Perez is very impressive in my opinion so far, and I'm definitely taking him. Second round TKO for Alex Perez here.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm taking Espinosa to be quicker on the feet, and if he doesn't catch him, get a decision here. So give me Jordan Espinosa, underdog betting line. But I like Perez. I think he's a very talented guy too. I'm looking forward to hearing.
You don't have to backtrack now. No. Come on.
I'm looking forward to hearing your breakdown of this fight coming up here. Co-main event time in the welterweight division. Rafael Dos Anjos, the number 5 ranked welterweight. He is the minus 275 favorite against Michael Chiesa, who's the plus 235 underdog. RDA, the former UFC lightweight champion, 4-3 since moving up to welterweight, but on a 1-3 stretch. He most recently lost to Leon Edwards in July in a fight that Big Marcel picked Rafael dos Anjos to win, to score as his underdog, and to pick up a performance of the night bonus. 0-3 there, Big Marcel. Chiesa 15-4, 9-4 in the UFC, 2-0 since going up to 170. Beat Diego Sanchez and Carlos Condit. I think I know your pick, Big Marcel, but go ahead and let the people know how you see this one playing out.
So in case you're wondering why Max was laughing, I put on my middle finger to him. Yeah, man, I mean, Dos Anjos is a great fighter, man, but he didn't do well against Leon Edwards, in my opinion. I expected more from him, as Max said. Obviously, Max is freezing for me, but I'm actually happy because of that, because he's an absolute ass right now. Just kidding. Yeah, Michael Chiesa, he's done great so far in the UFC, man. I mean, after his how do you say that, move to welterweight, he has won twice. Win against Carlos Condit was impressive in the second round by submission, and the Diego Sanchez fight, which many people expected him to win. I actually picked Diego Sanchez, if I'm right.
I did too. We both did.
We both suck. So let's go on crazy in this one. I think Michael Chiesa is stronger than Rafael dos Anjos. I think dos Anjos is more technical than Chiesa, but I'm taking Chiesa by overpowering dos Anjos and out wrestling him and getting a unanimous decision.
Wow. I did not expect that at all. I thought you were going to hammer that RDA line all day. I think Chiesa's looked great at 170. Not as much of a weight cut, not as much wear and tear on the body. He is a fantastic grappler. He has very good control. I don't think RDA's smash and pass traditional jiu-jitsu really kind of helps him in this fight. I got Chiesa too. I think Chiesa wins a decision. I think he's going to be fairly one-sided.
Yeah.
Wow, Big Marcel, that's an alarm for me. I did not think you were going there.
Sometimes I expect the unexpected, man.
I guess so. All right, main event time. Heavyweights, Junior Dos Santos taking on Curtis Blades. Blades is the -240 favorite. He is one slot ahead at number 3 in the rankings to JDS, who is at 4. JDS is the +200 betting underdog. He is the former UFC heavyweight champion. He is 21-6 overall, 15-5 in the UFC, sitting at 35 years young. Had that 3-fight win streak snapped by Francis Ngannou in June when he was stopped in the first round. Curtis Razor Blades, originally from Chicago. He is 28, now in Colorado, training full-time. 12-2 as a pro, 8-2 in the UFC. He did have one win flipped to a no contest, but as we know, both losses also to the aforementioned Francis Ngannou. Comes into this one off back-to-back wins over Shamil Abdurakhimov and Justin Willis. Big Marcel, everyone seems to be high on Curtis Blades in this one. Just taking a look at the betting odds, I've also seen that it has moved in the direction of Blades. So not a lot of people picking Junior Dos Santos at the moment. Dos Santos, Blades, what do you think happens? Main event time of UFC Raleigh. Give the people the breakdown.
Yeah, my name is Curtis Blades. I fucking destroy everybody not named Francis Ngannou. That's pretty much how it is right now, man. Junior Dos Santos making that run to the heavyweight title. He's a great fighter. He's a very tough wrestler. Has great takedowns. Has great ground control. And I still think if he didn't walk at that punch in China against Francis Ngannou, I would have loved to know how that went further.
Yeah.
But he got caught. So, man, I think Blades is a future UFC heavyweight title challenger for sure. Maybe even this year, maybe next year. But Curtis Blades all the way here by TKO in the second or third round after a dominating wrestling performance by the American.
I'm with you. Blades gets him down, pounds him out. Second round TKO for Curtis Blades. I can't see JDS kind of keeping him off of him. And I don't think he lands a big shot to put Blades away like Ngannou did.
Plus the injury JDS had recently, that was a very severe injury, man, and he's quick. He's back very quick from
Yeah.
that. So
yeah, I was surprised by that turnaround as well.
Yeah, I wonder if that still affect him, because if that's affecting, then it will be even tougher against Blades. Blades is a really, really good fighter, established right now in the heavyweight division, I think. And man, we will hear a lot more from Blades in the upcoming years.
Big Marcel, it's bonus time, and you have the distinct honor of picking fight of the night first this week.
Man, don't let me cry from joy. Yeah, fight of the night. That's a tough one here. Let's go with Jordan Espinosa against Alex Perez, the flyweights. Always fun.
Yeah, that could be a really good one. You know, I was gonna go Landwehr in Herbert Burns, but I think I'm gonna call an audible, and I'm going Lucy Pudialova to get a third fight of the night bonus against Justine Kish. So that is my pick for fight of the night. Performance of the night.
I expected you to pick Jones against Gravely, honestly, man.
That was also contention, but it did not make the cut. Performance of the night bonus winners. My official picks are going to be Curtis Blades and Darko Stosic. And then my contingent two are going to be Bevon Lewis and Montel Jackson. So give me your official two, and then your backup two.
Curtis Blades, Bevon Lewis, backup two, Stosic, and Jackson.
Okay. Underdog pick of the night, Big Marcel. You got a lot of options here. You got Brett Johns. You got Justine Kish, Nick Lentz, Darko Stosic, Hannah Cyphers, and Michael Chiesa.
We're going for the Maverick.
I think I got to do it too. I think he's the best underdog option this evening. So I'm going to go with it.
Isn't it crazy, man? I picked Dos Anjos for everything, and I'm going for Michael Chiesa. What a fucking casual I am, right?
Hey, how quickly one fight can change everything and how you change your perception. My lock of the night is Montel Jackson. Going to hopefully get on board with my first correct lock of 2020. What do you got?
Razor Blades.
All right. Let's recap this thing here. Kicking things off, we both have Nate Landwehr. Split on the second fight of the evening. I got Tony Gravely. He's got Brett Johns. I got Lena Landsberg on the upset. He's got Sarah McMahon. Both have Montel the Quick Jackson. I'm taking Lucy Pudialova. Big Marcel's got Justine Kish. I got Arnold Allen. He's got Nick Lentz. Both have Bevon Lewis over Daquan Townsend. Both have Darko Stosic over Jamal Hill. I'm taking Angie Hill. He's got Hannah Cyphers. I got Jordan Espinosa. He's got Alex Perez. Both have Michael Chiesa over Rafael Dos Anjos in the co-main event, and both taking Curtis Razor Blades over Junior Dos Santos in the main event. Fight of the night for me, Lucy Pudialova and Justine Kish. Kind of an out there pick, but I'm going with it. Big Marcel's taking the flyweights. Jordan Espinosa, Alex Perez. Performance bonus winners, officially 2 picks are going to be Curtis Blades and Darko Stosic. If we get 4 bonus winners, adding on Bevon Lewis and Montel Jackson. Under Big Marcel's performance winners, Curtis Blades and Bevon Lewis. Contingent on the 4 picks, he's got Darko Stosic and Montel Jackson. Underdog pick of the evening, both going with Michael Maverick Chiesa over Rafael Dos Anjos. And for the lock of the night, I took the easy way out. Biggest betting favorite on the card, Montel Jackson. Big Marcel's got Curtis Blades in the main event. Marcel, final thoughts, the feedback on UFC Raleigh coming up?
Not much, guys. Enjoy the show. I can't watch the first prelims because I had a party.
Dude, how many parties does your family throw? It's absurd.
Yeah, I don't know.
This guy's always going to a party during the fights.
Yeah, it's just for a birthday. So, but just enjoy the show, guys. I mean, fun card. And after that, you can watch Bellator, right? Because it's pretty much It's pretty much be after each other. So a beautiful MMA Saturday is going to be.
How late are you going to stay up, Big Marcel?
I'm definitely checking this card. And it depends on Bellator how quick they go. If they go like one fight every 50 minutes, then I'm not going to watch till the end. But if they move a little bit fast forward, I'm maybe going to watch that card as well.
Well, I'm not sure if I'll be tuning in Saturday night or Sunday morning, but one or both of those are possibilities. Want to remind everyone to subscribe to the Loudmouth MMA Podcast Network. You get this and all the great shows we offer. This might take a while, Big Marcel, because we've added some shows to the docket, and there are quite a few coming out with a new show pretty much every day of the week. So just make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. You'll get all the great content. Got Between the Links every week, hosted by Mike Heck. We got our boys Davidson Baker, Craig Allen, Keith Schillen. Always a fun listen. They had Rodney James Edgar on this week. Got the Loudmouth MMA recap show with Keith Schillen and John Franklin. We got All Angles with those two as well. Early Stoppage, Craig Allen and John Franklin. The Not Safe for Work MMA show, Fred Kirby and Kyle Steele. You know what? Forget Conor McGregor. Fred Kirby might be the notorious in MMA. This guy is a maniac. Listen to him every week on the Not Safe for Work MMA show. The Kyle Steele show just debuted on Monday. That's a great listen, talking about the Conor McGregor effect. Should be a fun one. And then Keith Schillen recently released the MMA Takeover show. We had the great Nolan King from MMA Junkie on this week for that one. So be sure to click subscribe, follow, get all the great content here on the network. Big Marcel, where can the people find and follow all your great work?
You can find the website mmadna.nl on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter on BigMarcel24. And come at me, man, with your discussions like you did the last 24 hours. If you're gonna defend Dana White, I'm going after you because it's undefendable what he's doing. So let's go, man. I'm always game, but keep it nice.
And you do it you do it in a friendly way too. So it's always it's fun to spectate as well. Your Twitter discussions. Sometimes I obviously I pull up your account to look at all the fight announcements I may have missed, but then I also go through your replies as well to look at your just kind of general discussions on who you're, tweeting and exchanging with on Twitter. It's always entertaining.
Yeah, I try to keep it. I try to keep it mellow and just a little bit fun.
Absolutely, keeping it sharp.
I'm gonna go filthy against you, or I'll just mute or block you, man. I don't give a shit. That's how I go.
You can find me on Twitter, Trademark MMA. Be sure to check us out on the Loudmouth MMA Podcast Network, and we will be back next week for another. Is it next week, Big Marcel? UFC 247? 2 weeks. I couldn't remember if it was on the if it was coming at you on the 31st or I guess it's the 7th, so there's no way. 2 weeks. See you then. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Goodbye.